So I was looking at ICV2, just trying to see if I could find some interesting little tidbits after following up on Black Friday stuff. They had some information on there. Shopify also had an article about there being like $14 billion in Black Friday sales, or for the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Stepsister Tuesday, whatever weekend. And I, when I looked up the numbers that potentially for Black Friday, $14 billion was a number that I saw. I didn't know that it. I mean, if Shopify is announcing 14 billion, then the entire market is much higher than that. But I think that the total, I don't know, maybe the Shopify number's off. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. When I was looking up this kind of, that stuff and a bunch of other things that have happened recently, including the still ongoing Universal fraud slash bankruptcy. There was something about the number 22 Traveling Chocobo. If you don't know, Magic the Gathering, their Final Fantasy set had serialized cards. It could be anywhere from some number of 500 or of 1,000 or of 250, or, obviously most famous is the one of one ring from Lord of the Rings. So there's only one serialized card of that. With the Chocobos, there were 77. I'm not, because they're from Final Fantasy VII, I guess that's why there were 77 of them. Not really sure. But anyway, the number 22, it has some weird things going on, according to this ICV2 article. So it was graded at PSA and put in the PSA vault, which apparently is a thing you can do. You can have them hold on to the card, and then they can sell it through eBay for you. And then that person can choose to keep it in the vault or to take it themselves. So apparently it was in the vault, which means someone got the number 22, sent it into PSA to be graded. I mean, I assume PSA didn't get the number 22 on their own, but don't necessarily know exactly, right? So the first person got it, sent it into PSA, got it graded at whatever grade it was at. I'm not really sure. Probably, I don't think it was a PSA 10. I'm gonna guess 9.5 or 9. Anyway, it sold on eBay for I think it was listed at 71,000 and then was sold for best offer. And there are ways that you can find out what the best offer was. I guess ICV2 didn't bother to do that, so we don't know what it was sold, but I assume it was somewhere in the range of 35 to 45,000, because that's what was reported this summer that these things were selling at. Anyway, the buyer elected to keep it in the PSA vault. And then it was listed again some point later. I don't know whether the first listing was in August and then the second listing was in September, or they both were in September. Anyway, the person who purchased it kept it in the vault and listed it again, this time listing it at 61,000, and also it sold for best offer, so we still don't know what it actually sold for, at least from this article. I'm sure, again, there are ways to look that up. And there's ways to look on eBay to see these chocobos selling, right? So then it goes to China. And so it's no longer in the vault. It's shipped off to China. Presumably, anyway, because then it's listed on eBay from China. And it sells for considerably less. I don't remember the number, but it was not 61,000. It was probably in the... I can't remember exactly, but I know that it's then sold again, I think, again from China, and this time sold for $5,100. So it's a little weird that it's been... Well, it's not weird that it's selling for best offer and not selling for $71,000, because that's a crazy high amount, but so was $35,000. I assume they've come down since then. I wouldn't be surprised if they're somewhere around 15,000 or less. But it just seems strange that it has sold 4 times since it's been graded to presumably 4 different buyers. And now, I've mentioned, whenever I watch videos and people talk about eBay, I often make a comment that I worked at eBay when they're talking about shill bidding and that kind of stuff, and other fraud things. That I worked in the fraud department and I kind of know how these things work. That in 2008, 2009, when I was there was a very robust automated system that basically picked up on a lot of user data, and that could be anywhere from addresses to phone numbers to cities to kernels to cookies and that kind of stuff, and a lot of other user data. And that was 2008, 2009, before, just when the iPhone 1 was coming out. And now we all have these devices in our pockets that are tracking our every movement. So I can only imagine what data eBay has from themselves, from people having an eBay app on their phone, to just the data that eBay could buy from other people and collect all this and put it. So what I'm saying is there's a very robust system for catching uh, any kind of shill bidding where someone, whether it's your friends, your neighbors, your acquaintances, your employees, bidding on your auctions, and also purchasing your buy it nows or best offers. Although they, I don't remember them having as, they weren't. I don't remember them going out of their way to crack down on that. They were cracking down on definite shill bidding, but for someone just clicking a buy it now, I'm not sure that they care, because it was more about the integrity of the auction system that they cared about, because auctions obviously were very significant for eBay. Now, they may be less so now for eBay, because I think that they prefer the buy it now. So maybe they crack down more on buy it now stuff. Anyway, the point is that at some point the fraud department at eBay would pick up on if any one of these four buyers are, connected in any way, and with all the data that's swimming out there, it would be very easy for the automated system to pick that up. And if it wasn't, clear, if it was in this kind of a gray area, they would have a human look at it and make a decision, and then these accounts would be banned, and then the sale itself the transaction would be retroactively canceled. Meaning, well, that it basically was ended by eBay, and therefore anyone that made if they made a dispute, they would automatically win their dispute, right? Even if the money had already changed hands, eBay will rip the money out of the bank account. So if these people are connected and they're just kind of swapping these chocobos back and forth. But see, this is the thing: is whenever people accuse, I guess, market makers of doing that it's just a bunch of whales selling to each other. That's usually driving up the price. In this case, the price was going down. So it's hard to tell what is really going on. It's very weird. The PSA vault is probably a red herring, unless you know uh, PSA is just swapping it back and forth between employees, which seems unlikely, because would PSA be wanting to risk losing the PSA vault's access to eBay? And what benefit do they have of driving the price down? I mean, it's possible someone sent it in to be graded and then just disappeared off the map, and PSA was stuck with this thing and decided to make some money off of it. Although that seems a little far fetched, but I mean, if I know people are going to look at some sort of PSA connection and find out some sort of shady activity by PSA, because I know there's a lot of people that don't like PSA. I mean, not a lot, not most people. Most people don't even care about PSA like me. So I'm just, trying to figure out, or get ahead of the conspiracy theories. I don't know what really is going on with the price going down on it, right? It's just, I think it's just, speculators who aren't very good at speculating. That's what it seems like to me. I I can't I can't fathom with the price going down how that benefits a scam artist or someone trying to manipulate the markets. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a good day.